Hello, and welcome back to Siah Chattin podcast. Hello. If you guys are new here, my name is Messiah Dixon, and this is my podcast that is prioritized around, mental health and love and happiness and success, dreams. Um, I want to use my platform to be able to make a space for those who feel like they're not doing enough or feel like if there's something that you're struggling with mentally or emotionally that you can use this space and this platform or my podcast as an opportunity to feel like you're not alone. I want this to be a reminder that you're not alone in what you're going through and that we all go through the same things, even if it's in a different form or shape, that you're seen and you're recognized. So, and that's what this is. This is episode 3 of Siah Be Chatting podcast. I hope you guys have been doing well. You guys know that times like now is insane with tariffs, and you got the orange man in the office. Jesus Christ. Do you understand me? But I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are thriving mentally and emotionally from our last episode together. Hope you guys were able to take some of my advice and apply it to your day to day and, use it as a opportunity to reflect and, grow yourself as an individual, not only emotionally, mentally, but spiritually. That's something that we thrive to do or, every single day. And to be reminded that healing is not linear. Healing is not done overnight, but the fact that you are even trying to heal speaks a lot more volume than somebody who's not. So, if you haven't heard enough, if you're in any situation that's making you doubt yourself in this area, I want to be the first to tell you that I'm proud of you. This is something that I feel like I've struggled myself trying to hear and be reminded of, but I want to make sure I'm spreading what I wish I would hear all the time. I'm proud of you. You're exactly where you need to be in life, even though it's not where you want to be. Um, Sometimes we're put in positions to be tested with what we need in life and not exactly what we want. Those needs is a lot more important than those wants, and that's very important to keep in mind when you don't get things exactly how you want them. So there's comfort in knowing that you're exactly where you need to be, and as long as you keep trying to grow and elevate as an individual, everything that you want is already yours. But for that intro, I wanted to start off this episode by saying please follow and share this with any of your loved ones and friends and family who you feel like deserve to hear this message and in a time of their life where they feel like they need this episode and, just loop them in. We all deserve to win. We all deserve to experience love, happiness, and satisfaction. Um, and with that, I want to make sure this is a space that people are able to experience that. So let's get right into this episode. This episode is actually going to be about self love. Crazy one. And for me personally, the timing of me making this is actually insane considering that I've had to go through this challenge myself and able to grow into who I am as a person. And we'll go more into that. And you're probably wondering, what is my definition of self love, or what is anybody's really definition of self love? Self love for me is pouring into myself in areas that I know I can't get from other people or I will want from other people. I feel like there's self love and emotional care, mental care, spiritual care. I feel like self love is something that is built over time, is not linear. It's something that grows you as a person, that we learn more and more about ourselves every single day, to get closer to our self love. Self love is something that is not comparable to anybody else's love. That's something that I had to learn and come through my struggles with, realizing and accepting that regardless of the love that you receive from anybody else, whether it's family or friends or support, nothing really adds up to the self-love that you have for yourself. And I feel like that's something that is very, very important in the times that we're in now, and realizing that at the end of the day, we have ourselves. Nobody can really defend and stand up and stick up for ourselves more than we can. And there's comfort in knowing that. And with that is where I learned that self-love is very crucial. It's a priority that you need to keep in mind when it comes to growing as an individual and being able to use the moments of growth to reflect of your character or reflect on your character and what you can do better to be a better person, you know, within yourself. And it brings comfort with knowing that self love is one of the best loves you could ever experience. And I learned that myself. My self love journey was kind of interesting. I, as you guys know from my first episode, I kind of went into detail, not full depth. So I'm going to keep it really brief. I went through a lot of emotions growing up, whether it's family, friends, bullying, and it was hard for me to really accept myself for who I am. Granted, I was also closeted. I wasn't out. I was afraid to admit who I was as a person. I was ashamed of it, in the times that we're in. And, being a part of the Black community, we have this idea or vision of what a strong Black man is supposed to be and act like. And that can be very damaging on people's character when we are supposed to be presented this one way. And that's not who we are as people. And I struggled with that my whole life. I was bullied in elementary school. Elementary school is crazy. I would never want that for anybody. I was bullied in elementary school for me being authentically myself. I believed I had friends that were my friends, but were not really my friends. They were just enemies. And it made me neglect my self love for myself. And that goes up into high school. I surrounded myself around people who didn't really have my best interest at heart. And I had to reap what I sow when it came to that because I decided to surround myself with those people. But at the end of the day, I'm very big on allowing yourself grace, you guys, and making sure give yourself grace in situations like that because you're not the problem. You're not the problem that nobody else realizes your worth. It's not on you. It's always going to be on them. They are in a space of projection. And I feel like there's comfort in knowing that people treat you based off how they see themselves. That's something that took me years, and I'm still learning it at 22 years old. It's something that took me years to realize. I surrounded myself around people for approval, and that was something that was terrible for my mental health. And I always wanted the approval of friends and family. And I realized I wasn't nurturing my self love the way I should. I came out in 2021, 22. We've had this conversation before that I don't really believe in coming out anymore. But ideally, I was able to really come into myself as a person. I was able to love myself and put myself in a space of discomfort because I wasn't used to expressing myself, but I knew with expressing myself comes growth. You're not growing if you're comfortable. And I don't know how many times I had to repeat that to myself to stay 10 toes on how I felt about expressing myself and coming out and not having this persona built up of me on social media platforms that I wasn't proud of. I didn't want to end my social media career in the future knowing that I wasn't authentically myself. Being authentically yourself is probably one of the best gifts you could ever have. And it took me years to realize that. It took me years and years and years to realize that. And you know, influences can play a role in that as well. I had a lot of good influences in the times of me coming out. I had my brother, Isaiah, actually help me understand myself as a person and come into myself as a person and help me love every flaw and hardship and flaw of mine. I was able to embrace everything about myself and not feel like I had to put up this wall of being too flamboyant or being too feminine or too masculine or doing this or doing that or not really having confidence in how I speak. Years I was in a space of being scared of talking and using my voice on platforms because I was afraid of judgment. And with that, it builds up this wall of not truly loving yourself. And I had to learn how to love myself wholeheartedly. And with that, it brought me comfort within knowing that. And it was something that I realized I wanted to change, and I wanted to use this as an opportunity to inspire other people that may struggle with coming out and loving themselves. And right then and there is when I started my journey of self love, catering to my inner child and catering to my mental and my emotional state, where I can love wholeheartedly every single aspect of myself. And I am probably the farthest I've ever been in life, mentally and emotionally. And that's just due to self love. That's something that we all have to overcome. And that's that one stair that we have to step every single time. And it's okay if you take a step and you take 2 steps back and you take another 2 steps. You fall back again, you take another 2 steps. But the fact that you're even making that effort to grow in the first place speaks more volume mentally, that you've already walked a whole staircase mentally. And there's comfort in knowing that. It brought me peace. It brought me peace in knowing that within myself. I surrounded myself around people who I knew loved themselves. I loved Isaiah's confidence. He was somebody I always looked up to as a brother, an older brother. I loved how he was able to express himself and be himself. And, it's very critical, I feel like, to surround yourself around people who inspire you and respect you and give you ideas that, or give you perspectives that you may not have or know, that can open your eyes to another door of growth. And I lived with my brother for 2-3 years, and I've grown so much from when we first moved in together to now. And he hears it all the time. I tell him every single time. And one thing about it, you guys, remind your friends about how much they help you as people. I'm very big on reassurance, and sometimes we can get so caught up and not feeling like we're doing enough for people. But sometimes just expressing that goes such a long way. And he knows that he has helped me so much as a person. I make sure he knows that. Thank you. I make sure every single time he knows that, because at the end of the day, I want my friends to feel valued, and I want them to feel loved, and I want them to know that, like, the place they have in my life is seen. I want them to always feel seen just as much as I want to feel seen. I'm very big on reciprocity. I'm huge on it. I'm very huge on it. And that's something I always want to make sure my friends who I know have had a positive effect on me, I want them to feel that. I want my friend Isaiah to feel that. I want Peyton. I want all of my best friends who I hold so dearly to my heart to know that they have helped me so much as a person, and love and truly love myself and realize my worth. And that's not something you can always do by yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It doesn't even have to really be seen as help, but it's okay to get a hand sometimes on learning how to love yourself and appreciate yourself, and just have that self-love. There might be traits or things that you never thought of doing to show and express self-love for yourself until you ask somebody else. Self-love can simply be you expressing yourself to somebody and they just listen. That's self-love. You're expressing your emotion. Self-love is writing. Self-love is taking yourself out on solo dates, self-care dates, taking yourself out to a movie. Self-love is putting yourself first. Self-love is setting that boundary between you and another person, or within anybody, to a point where you have so much respect for yourself. It's not selfish to have boundaries. It's not selfish to have boundaries. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people can get a little caught up in, and believing that it's selfish to have a boundary. No, it's not selfish to put yourself first and pour into yourself before you pour into others. And I'm going to take that to the grave. Do you understand me? Hello, thank you. And I had to learn that, and I had to embrace that, and really recognize that as a 22-year-old, a Black gay man in Atlanta. I had to recognize that. And I learned to not use other people's ideology of me to affect who I am as a person. Because I know who I am at core. I know my intentions are pure. And with that, I know that I'm doing everything I need to do to nurture that self-love that I have for myself, There's so many ways to fulfill your self-love. There's so many ways to fulfill it, and there's so many ways to express it. There's so many ways. There's a list. It's feeding and nurturing your inner child, something that used to bring you love as a child, like drawing. I loved dancing as a child. I loved it. And that's where my passion comes into play. I've been dancing since I was 4 years old, putting a Beyonce shirt over my head and dancing to her BET performance. My mom will never let me forget that day, child. But with that, it puts a smile on my face knowing that I've been dancing. I've been had this as my passion. And I'm shocked it took me so long to realize that is my love. My self-love for myself is dancing. I express myself so much when I'm dancing, when I'm in a space of eliminating anything that is causing hurt or a negative emotion or overthinking, and releasing it into my dancing. That's me catering to my self-love, making sure I am getting massages and, self-care too. Self-care is another form of self-love, and getting a haircut, getting my hair braided, getting my car washed, feeding myself, getting my nails done, my toes done, taking myself hiking, surrounding myself around nature. Y'all touch grass, please. Please touch grass. Y'all, I cannot stress that enough. Touch some grass. It really do be that damn phone. I be trying to tell y'all, it be that damn phone. Y'all need to get off that phone and live. Now is the time to live. What did SZA say in that song? Happiness. Wait. Hold on. She said half of us chasing fountains of youth and it's in the present now. We are so worried about trying to be young and we need to be present. And I feel like that lyric goes so far into knowing that, like, you need to make sure you're catering to yourself now, being present, touch grass, be outside, go to the pool, write, read. Things that you used to do as a child that might bring you joy now, do that. I'm encouraging it. Please do it. Please do it, because I was in a space forever where I wasn't expressing self-love. Going to the gym is self-love, y'all. Y'all know how many times I go to the gym. If y'all know me, oh, that gym always sees me. Always sees me. That gym always sees me because I love working out. I love expressing myself in the gym. It makes me get a peace of mind. It makes me feel connected. It makes me feel like I'm catering to my health and my physical health because I take it so seriously. I love my body so much that I want to make sure I'm putting it in a place of knowing that I'm taking care of it. And it feels that. Your body, your mind feels that love that you give to yourself. So never neglect it. Never neglect it, and never allow anybody to have control of that either. You are the only person in control of your life. And like I said earlier, that only us can cater to our self-love. We can only cater to our self-love ourselves. Nobody else can pour into that glass. Nobody else. Anybody else can pour it out, but it's in your control if you want to give that up to somebody else in the first place. Clock it. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. And there's so much comfort with knowing that. You know what I'm saying? There's so much comfort within knowing that. And I always struggled with self-love. I've always struggled with it. And I told you guys before, I'm more confident I've ever been in my life. And I know it's only up from here. I know what I want to do with my life. I know what I need to do to get in touch with my self-love and who I need to surround myself with. And if that's another conversation that we can open up right now, hello, surrounding yourself around people who you know deserve your love. Not everybody is deserving of your love, and that is okay. Sometimes the people that you love the most is not the ones who is deserving of your love, and that's okay. Sometimes it can be your family, the ones that you would think should get that love. Sometimes it's okay to come across those people who don't deserve your love. It's a privilege to talk to you. I'm very big on that. I always express to whoever I'm in a relationship with or pursuing, I always say that it's a privilege that I'm talking to you just as much as a privilege that you're talking to me. That privilege can always be taken away in a heartbeat. Never forget that, babe. Never forget, you set that boundary up within yourself because you're not being selfish. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting you at the end of the day. Privileges can be taken away. Everybody that I love right now, my mom, it's a privilege that I'm talking to her. It's a privilege she's talking to me because she's giving me that time because she cares and she loves me as an individual. That is a blessing. But that blessing can also be taken if it's taken advantage of. Now, I love my mama down. Now, me and her is locked in. But that was just me giving an example. But in a sense where It's okay to set that boundary. It's okay to make sure if you feel like somebody is not feeding into your love and fitting into that circle that you want to feel loved and seen and valued, and these are all forms of love, by the way, it's okay to cut it. It's okay to be like, you know what? I see your morals. I see you as a person. I'm never going to invalidate you or your feelings. But as for me, and I'm going to be speaking for myself, that this isn't catering to my self love. This isn't catering to the love that I have for myself. I know what I deserve and I know what you're giving me and what I'm putting out. I don't deserve it. I'm not receiving what I'm putting out. And sometimes it hurts to try expecting yourself in other people, but that's really the hard truth, to never do that, you guys. Never expect yourself in other people, because that is truly the easiest way to get let down. Never. Now, it's okay to give people the benefit of the doubt, but they get one time, and that's for me. Okay? Have grace. I came across somebody who always told me that this is all of our first time living. This is all of our first time living, walking, smelling, eating, traveling, crying, work, emotions. This is all of our first time doing the same thing. None of us have been on this life longer, 20,000, 30,000 years. This is all of our first time. So with that, it's okay to give people grace with making mistakes and fucking up. People do that. But also make sure within that grace and knowing that they mess up, and make sure it's not something that is detrimental to your self-love and your growth as a person, as an individual, that journey. Your journey is way more important than anybody else's, Buki. I hate to tell you. You don't want to be the bitch to say it, but I'm going to tell it for you. It's okay to put your growth over anybody else's. It's okay, because you will want the same for them, right? Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Say it the fuck again. Put your growth first. Don't put nobody else's growth first. Don't think about trying to put somebody's growth first. Don't think, sometimes you can get so caught up in putting other people before you. You can only pour out that glass so many times, babe. And what are you going to do to fill it back up? What are you going to do when it comes the time where your glass is poured out or poured into somebody else's and they don't reciprocate that amount that you just poured into them? What are you going to do? Because now you're just left with yourself. Now you're left with, oh, wow, this just happened. What am I going to do now to get that amount that I poured into somebody else back? And you got to go through this whole cycle, and you got to go through this repetition of getting your what you put out back. And that's cutting your time, babe. That's you're wasting time, babe. You're wasting time. Don't do that to yourself. Do not do that to yourself. It's okay to overflow your glass, babe. It's okay to overflow your glass. It's fine. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? So always remember that. That's something that I take seriously. Always remember that. It's very crucial to remember that. And with that, it's good to also recognize the things you need to do to experience and get the full amount of self-love, but it's also good to recognize what to avoid and not, what's the sentence I'm trying to say, what to avoid when it comes to prioritizing your self-love, right? And with that, I would say this, babe, sometimes we have a habit of ignoring red flags with people. Sometimes we have a huge habit of ignoring red flags and let people be who they are. And that's okay with being who they are, but allowing yourself to nip that, note it, and using that as an opportunity to set that boundary. So you're not just being affected by those red flags. You fall back from those people. It's okay to fall back from people that you know is not supporting or adding to your self-love journey. It's okay to do that, even if it's the people you care the most about. It's okay. A lot of us fall short in certain areas, but if it's a point where it's affecting you as a person, babe, I'm gonna need you to cut it. I hate to be the one to tell ya. Cut it off, Bookie. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. Ignoring red flags, that's a big one. Neglecting your self-love, and that means not taking care of yourself. We all have moments where we want to bed rot, but don't allow moments where you bed rot become a habit. It's okay to have a rest day. It's okay to fall back one time, but don't allow it to happen another day. I kind of compare it to going to the gym. You can miss a day of the gym. You can miss one day, it's fine, and you go back the next day. The moment you miss 2 days, it becomes a habit. And now you're just pushing yourself back. You're pushing your growth back. Don't allow negativity to become habits. Do not do it. I'm gonna go ahead and hold your hand when I say this, babe. Do not do it. It's going to fuck you in the cheek. It's not going to be pleasurable, and that's something that is crucial in admitting and learning and knowing that this growth is not linear. And that's going to be the word of the day, y'all. Linear. Growth is not linear. Healing is not linear. Self-love is not linear. Your whole journey is not linear, but it's growing. Day by day, you're getting stronger. Day by day, you're learning more about yourself as a person, even if it's by the littlest amount. Neglecting your self-love is not writing your feelings. Neglecting self-love is suppressing your emotions. Neglecting self-love is putting others above you. Neglecting self-love is putting pessimistic thoughts about yourself, knowing that you deserve better. Neglecting self-love is prioritizing other people above yourself. Cater to yourself, you guys. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. It's easier said than done, but the work will always pay off. Love yourself. And this is coming from somebody who struggled with self-love, who struggled with confidence, who struggled with expressing my emotion, who struggled with feeling worthy of love. Love yourself. Love yourself. Your love for yourself is stronger than any love that anybody can have for you. Friend, I need you to do that. I need you to do that for me. This life that we're in now, this world we are in, is crazy as it is. And with that, I want there to be comfort in knowing that you can grow from this. You can grow. It's possible to grow. But it always starts with you. Every single episode you guys have heard me say it, y'all. It always starts with you. It starts with you. Always remember that. Always remember that. Like I said before, there is sacrifices you can make in order to meet your full potential, whether it's cutting out certain things. I am a firm believer of making sure you're not feeding your body anything negative. That's another form of neglecting your self-love. Y'all gonna hate to say it, y'all. Drinking every day, every week, excuse me. Drinking every day and every weekend is not nurturing your self-love. It's not catering to your self-love. That's neglecting it. You're putting in your body negativity. You're drinking because you are filled with negative emotion. You may be smoking because you're filled with negative emotion, but these become habits and these push you farther for really experiencing love for yourself. I used to smoke like crazy when I was in my 20, 21, 19. I was doing it to suppress my emotion. I was doing it because I was afraid of being present in moments. Being present is another form of self-love. It is a huge form of self-love. And I was afraid of experiencing that. I was afraid of being present in the moments. Those people that you come across where it's like, oh girl, we got to go out and drink before we go out. Oh girl, we got to go out to smoke before we go to this party, this kickback. No, we don't. Right now is the most crucial time to actually experience love for within each other, with being present. We don't have to do that. And that becomes a habit of thinking that you need to do events and doing all these things in order to experience love, or, just neglecting and suppressing it by, covering it with drugs and drinking. And for somebody who was in that position, it's going to fuck you up every single time. You're going to fall back every single time. It's going to affect you negatively. And I want to be the one to tell you, you don't have to do that to yourself. You don't have to do that to yourself, but it starts with you, and that also comes with your environment. If you are surrounded around people who do nothing but drink and smoke and surround themselves with that, babe, you're gonna get that reality check soon, babe. And I want this to be that reality check before it becomes something that is way more detrimental to your health. Cut that off. Set that boundary. If this is something you care about, you can suggest these to your friends. You know what, girl? Let's actually chill. Let's have a game night. Let's have a movie night. You're being present. That's another way of expressing self-love. If you cater and you love spending time with your friends, that is another form of love. That right there is another form of love, of expressing and sitting down and expressing love for one another. That is self-love. You're catering your inner child. If you were surrounded around friends your whole life, that's okay. But make sure the people that you're surrounded by is not people who is in the habits of drinking and smoking all the time, because that's going to do nothing but negatively affect you and hold you back from not only your journey, but your mental growth and your emotional growth, which is very, very, very crucial in the times we're in, y'all. It's very, very, very crucial. And I want to make sure that is very much known. At the end of the day, you guys, I want all of us to feel seen. I want all of us to feel loved. I want all of us to be happy. I want all of us to be at peace and grateful to be where we are in life. Because what I said earlier, we get so caught up in seeing inside out and not outside in and not recognizing what other people see. Sometimes I get in a habit of only seeing what I see and not really seeing what other people see in me. And I've learned to stop thinking like that. I'm perfect exactly where I am and how I am as a person. I am loved, I am seen, and not only by other people, but by me. I'm loved. I'm seen. People people love me. I love myself. God loves me. I know at the end of the day, if I ever have a moment of feeling alone, or I'm in some things by myself, you're never by yourself. You have God. You have God and you have yourself. You're not nobody. You're never by yourself. You always have yourself and you always have God. And there's comfort in realizing that and recognizing that. That makes me smile every single time. That despite whatever happens in life and the obstacles you come across, you have somebody to talk to at the end of the day to bring a peace of mind to you. And I want all of us to do that. I want all of us to recognize that there's comfort in knowing that we're never alone in what we go through. You're not alone. You're seen, you're loved, you're appreciated, you're special. If nobody has ever told you before, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you, of the person that you have become today, the obstacles you have came across, your hardships, your lows. You have came out a stronger person every single time. And if nobody recognizes that, even yourself, babe, I'm going to recognize it for you. I am fucking proud of you. You are doing everything you need to do to be successful in life. And if you don't feel like you're doing enough, you have the control of doing what you need to do. But I'm going to tell you, you woke up today already. That already is, you already showed up. You already expressed that love. You woke up and you decided to start your day. That is love. That is self-love for yourself. And I'm going to always remind you guys this throughout my whole podcast, regardless if it's me, whoever else I bring onto this podcast. You got this. We are all in this together. Have hope for all of us. And I believe we're all going to go far in life. And we all deserve it. At the end of the day, we all deserve to be loved and feel loved. But make sure your love is outshining anybody else's. And that wraps up episode 3 of Self-Love. This was a very touchy conversation for me. I feel like we were on FaceTime. Like, that was kind of cute, right? I feel like I'm getting cute, like a lot more comfortable talking to you guys if this is a FaceTime call. But thank you for those who have listened to this podcast. Please share this with somebody who you think deserves to hear it, who needs to hear it, because it's okay to hear an outside voice. Sometimes we hear things, synchronicity is such a thing where something can happen and you send this to somebody else, and based off the event that just happened to them, this might just align with what they're going through. And I want to be able to spread this word, regardless if it's one person, a million people, 2 people, is going to help somebody out there. And that's what matters the most to me. I love you. I love you all. You guys are loved. You guys are seen. And you guys are valuable. And I will see you guys next episode. And this is Siah Chattin Podcast. Out.